All right, so we're going to talk about today a lot of stuff. I mean, international level, domestic level. The first thing I want to say is that XRP is not just a bridge currency, it's also a moat. Yeah, that's right. You heard it right. A moat that you swim across, that you can't get across, that kind of a thing. You know what? Let's just roll the intro and get into this thing. Here we go.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at @BackupBradleyAbove at the top of the screen and everything that we're talking about here today. Exciting times, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about price here in a second as well. And the market is absolutely moving and responding. But let's start with this because here's another area that is really showing some serious motion. Anchorage, the startup company, is now pushing for the OCC to get them and convert to a national bank. Wow. I got to tell you, that's this month. That's this news. It's happening right now, right in front of us. We are watching that level playing field begin. I really think there's no confusion in understanding that. But when I think of this, the one thing I think of is like, who just recently did that? That's right, Kraken. And this is linked to site. By the way, I tell you guys all the time, even if you're not an accredited investor, because you have to be an accredited investor to buy these picks and shovel companies that are behind all of the blockchain crypto movement. You want to get real with knowing that, because that's the truth. Just like Ripple, just like Link2, just like SoFi, just like Uphold, right? Upgrade, Marqeta, Kraken just recently got a banking license. Now Anchorage is moving into the game. Wonderful, wonderful news. Moving here, I was blown away by this number. Bears in disbelief. I'm in disbelief, but in a happy way. Grayscale holds 2.7% of Bitcoin supply. Come on in, Barry Silbert. You know, I don't have the money to play around with Barry Silbert's investment fund, and I wish that I did, the Grayscale investment fund. But you know what? Someday soon I will, and I probably will participate in that and all the different kinds they offer. But what I do now is I do my own crypto IRA, and I do it at I Trust Capital. So make sure you check them out. And look, things are going crazy. And that's a really great platform, by the way. I love I Trust. And I got a link in the description box for all those things and many more if you should want or need anything. So make sure you check it out. But looking at the price today at 30 cents strong, by the way, this morning we were up 10+% on the 7-day. 10+% on the 7-day. What I want you to look here, and Mr. B XRP, shout out to him. He pointed this out and it really brought my attention to it. Look at the market cap here at the top. The top of the screen, we're almost at a $500 billion market cap for crypto. Now that is a lot of money. But in the understanding of what a space and how big a space is or an asset class, it's nothing yet. And I think that's really where it's hitting home to me. Yes, it's a lot of money, and I'm glad to see it coming up and raising almost $500 billion. I want you to imagine the early days of the internet when there's $5, $10, $50 trillion poured into the internet, building out the infrastructure, the picks and shovels, just like I showed you with Link2. I mean, this all goes back to this, right? It's just, it is where we are going, and there is no turning back. Now, I'm not saying we won't have price fluctuations and everything takes a breath and the market pulls back, resets, and goes again. But I truly believe we are moving our way and we are in a bull market, right? Which to me is more important than just a bull run. Now, I won't kick a bull run out of bed for eating crackers, but a bull market is what I'm going to want, and I'm going to want it for many, many years to come. So let's look at that beautiful price, knowing that the entire crypto space is almost $500 billion strong. Shout out to Mr. BXRP. And this is it right here, 30 cents strong holding. We did breathe back a little bit earlier today in the 29-cent range, but right back over 30 cents. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because there's a spot here by Michael Val 5 Links who shared it. XRP has broken above the massive falling wedge that began in September 2018. The upside target of the falling wedge is now 80 cents. However, XRP could test 92 cents based on the 23.6% Fibonacci retracement of the last bear market. So let's just look at this falling wedge because I think it's important to understand. I want to make a point about this diagram. You see the falling wedge here it shows, and you see where the breakout has happened and we remain above that. And this shows the target here of the 80-cent range. You know, I'm just making a point about this because I do believe we're going where we're going. However, I did want to make the point that Cryptopolis did remind us that the correlation between the dollar index, the dollar strength, what they call the dollar Dixie, and the crypto asset market as a whole, it correlates. So when the dollar is weaker, the crypto market's stronger. And consequently, vice versa, it's the other way around, right? So, you know, what I would say is that I do know that we're in a pretty special time here in the U.S. as far as the elections go, and it's not resolved yet. There is a constitutional process. If we are apparently going through that process, I'm a little older, and it kind of reminds me of what we went through with Bush and Gore at that election cycle, and had something very similar take place. So it does look like we're going to go through a much longer process than just the voting itself, right? So. And what I would say to that is to watch that whichever way that ends up breaking when it's over, and I don't know the answer, and I don't think any of us do until it happens, but whichever way that goes, I would really pay attention to the dollar strength at that moment when it's completely resolved, right? And really pay attention and say, okay, what happens to the dollar strength, and will we see another pullback based on whichever way that breaks according to the dollar strength, and how the markets perceive whatever the resolution is, right? So just keep an eye on that. But I thought it was also interesting to see that, here we have a target range clearing away, looking to head up into the 80-cent range. My, oh my. Then I thought about James Rule XRP, who shared this. He said, if you think today is huge, wait until you see the whole world FOMO when XRP hits $1. And well said, James Rule XRP. You know, there's a special thing about something hitting that dollar or breaking over that dollar mark. FOMO really does go crazy. I've seen it. Matter of fact, I've participated in it. Back in 2017, I FOMO'd all the way up the line, and then luckily for me, I was able to figure out, and I knew what I was holding beforehand, but I was able to continue to dollar cost average over the last 2 or 3 years, and now I'm very, very happy where we're at here. But just a reminder there that this market's really just starting to get going, and man, oh man, to see XRP good and solid over $1 would just be remarkable for the space. Wow. Okay, now moving on to a much larger notion. I want to shift gears a little bit here, because what does all of this tie into? And this is a particular article, just to set it up, about Trudeau in Canada, and talking about he has eyes on a great reset for Canada. Well, it's not just Canada. We've been covering the Great Reset, which is the motto of the World Economic Forum, for quite some time. Now, I'm not going to read you this article, but you can tell right now from the article, I could tell you that the citizens of Canada are not happy about being sold a bill of goods about a Great Reset that none of them asked for. That doesn't mean that they won't get it either. But look, let's just understand this. Remember September when World Economic Forum says Ripple XRP is the most relevant crypto in the CBDC space? Well, I can tell you, and people that have been with me for a while on this channel know that it's been longer than since last September. Matter of fact, this goes back to January of 2020 at Davos, at the World Economic Forum, right? Now, let's just see what they did say in September. They said, however, despite considering digital assets and central bank digital currencies two different forms, the international organization, World Economic Forum, says that the only one cryptocurrency that is relevant to the most in the merging space of CBDCs is XRP, the fourth-ranked digital currency by market cap in the world. Ripple's XRP can be used for payments as well as for settlements that are made between intra or interbank settlement. Now, again, if you've been with me a while, you know that this document up in the left-hand corner is a PDF file that was handed out at Davos from the World Economic Forum on Central Bank Digital Currency Policy Toolmaker Kit. Now, it's right here. Crypto assets designed for inter or intra-bank payments and settlement. XRP. JPM coin XRP. It's right there. Right there. See that? XRP. Now, that person that drafted the document, it just happens to be a woman named Sheila Warren, head of blockchain at the World Economic Forum. And it just so happens that she was a keynote speaker at the most recent Swell event. Damn, isn't that ironic? Unbelievable. So, interbank settlements, right? They say it in September. They put it in a PDF in January. That's consistency in the message for a great reset. And that's the mantra. And XRP is a part of that mantra. And it's also a part of the IMF's mantra, the new Bretton Woods. I've shown you guys here the PDF files of the IMF recommending RippleNet, and specifically RippleNet, to be deemed systemically important by the Financial Stability Oversight Council, which is a regulatory agency connected directly to the Treasury. Now, that, to me, is one of the biggest signs that you're seeing a huge push for the U.S. to deem RippleNet systemically important to the financial market utility or market infrastructure. Just like settlement companies, right? And huge central banks. Really, really incredible stuff. So, okay, moving on, because I don't want to get my needle stuck, but I do want to take you to a place that I showed some information. It was just a couple days ago, and it's from Brent McIntosh. We're going to go there in just a second here. And before we do, I want to remind you, there's another international forum we need to keep an eye out for. You know what it is? The G20 Summit, to take place virtually on November 21st and 22nd. So we got another 3 days here. Another 3 days. And we're going to see the virtual summit of the G20. Now, I'm going to tell you what. I don't know where this goes, but this looks pretty incredible to me. I got to be honest with you. We have determined here from a lot of the information we've seen that it is from the top down. That's how we see these things go, from the top down, from the international level down to the domestic level. Now, what's important to remember is that when you talk about the G20, then there's the G7, right, which is the top of the top economic or top economies and countries of the world, right? The G7 ministers is huge. I mean, that is the elite of the elite. Well, let me tell you something. Brent McIntosh, the undersecretary to Steve Mnuchin at the U.S. Treasury Department, is a part of the G7 and the Financial Stability Board. And I have covered him and what he has said here about the idea of getting all of this to work in a new way. And I have a clip that I want to play for you that he has here from 1524. It's just about 1 minute. It's almost 1 minute exactly. Actually, almost 2 minutes. Let me play this and just let him tell you what he's seeing.
States. And so there are intensive conversations going on with Treasury and the Fed and the SEC and the CFTC and the OCC, and also the FinCEN with regard to money laundering and proliferation issues. There are so many different aspects of these developments that it plays within the jurisdiction of a lot of different agencies within the United States. And so coordination across those agencies has been important to developing our view. Similarly, because of the possibility of the cross-border nature of these the issues here, we've had to interact very closely with our international counterparts. And so, Kenji and I feel like we discuss this with each other pretty regularly. We discuss it in the G7, of which the United States is the president this year.
And I'm getting ready to comment on that video that I made here. The United States is the president of the G7. I thought we were lagging behind, right? How could we possibly be lagging behind if we're the president of the G7 helping to craft the international framework for the world to use? Like I said, from the top down. Look, let me just skip ahead here really quickly here. But I thought, wait a minute, because come on in.
And digital payments, because there are, if you look at the places where there are potential consequences, they span a variety of different values and interests we have here. So, for example, there are potential financial stability concerns we need to be addressing. We don't see financial stability risks at present, but we should be looking at those questions as we move forward. Similarly, there are monetary policy and monetary sovereignty concerns.
There you go right there. Monetary policy and monetary sovereignty concerns. And that's why I said when we started this video, XRP is not just a bridge currency, it's also a moat. That's right. Because the reality is when you think about the visual picture of what we're talking about here, which is all the money, right? All the money, XRP transacting all the money, the entire Forex market, settling derivatives back in, oil transactions, supply chains, trade deals, right? Smart contracts, all of this stuff is eventually going to run on a decentralized ledger. And there'll be many, many other things that plug in and tap into it. But I believe just like, was it Simple Mail Transaction Protocol is SMTP for sending email on the internet, I believe that the XRP ledger will certainly become the dedicated open source technology protocol that is trusted and legitimized to be able to send value across the internet. That's where we're at. And I also show you this because this also rings out to me too, because when I hear the comments about monetary sovereignty and sovereignty over a nation remaining, what we're really talking about here is the idea of XRP sits in between everybody's money as a bridge currency to ease that friction. Totally get it. But it's also acting like a moat around a castle, right? Because what it does is even though you're using a globalist idea to bridge all the money of the world in a frictionless way in a digital realm, you allow all the countries to maintain their sovereign currency and sovereign nations without being tested or contested in a way, because if you were to adopt a one world currency per se, now you're talking about challenging the rights of a nation and their money and their monetary policy. That dog don't hunt. And this system of using XRP as a bridge currency also by default makes it like a moat for each individual country, because once they place XRP as a bridge currency, your problems of your country and your money supply and your debt will all fall back into your yard. It will no longer be someone else's mess. That's where we're at. All right, hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. The market is moving. I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. I'm getting tons of messages, and it is just really nice to see it after so long of a down market. But again, one of the events I would watch out for, just like the G20 summit and whatever may be gleaned from there, I do want to remind you, because they also have a digital economy task force, which will be a part of the conversation at the summit, as well as the pandemic and other things related to that. So I do want to remind you, aside from that, we want to pay attention to all these events that are coming up. And I will say, look, hit the like and subscribe. I'm pumped up. I know you guys are pumped up. I'm telling you, I got to read some more news. I got to see what's coming in. I got to watch the price. I'm just feeling everything, and I know you guys are too. I'm so excited. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Check the links in the description box and the comment section. There's really great things for anything you may want or need, and I'll catch all of you on the next one.